So I have been in a substance abuse program for 4 months at this point. The expectation is 100% absolute sobriety. The longest I've been sober since I received my DUI last year, the longest I've gone without drinking was about 2 weeks. That was the longest I ever went. Um, a 2 week straight period, and then after that it's kind of like, okay, I can be sober long enough to take my test, because I know like some of the tests they can like show alcohol in your system of up to 4 days. So the longest I've been sober at this point on and off has been about 5 to 6 days. And I go to my group every day. I show up and I don't say anything because my mindset is like, they can't help me. Like, they can't stop me from going to the liquor store. They can't stop me from drinking. And when I first started, I honestly saw it as a challenge. Like, yeah, I can keep doing everything that I want to do. I just can't. I just got to stay sober long enough to take my test and I'll be okay. And that went fine for a while until the last 2 months. It was impossible for me to stop drinking. Like, I could not stop drinking long enough to take the test because I knew that it would show positive. And that was the first time that had happened. It was like I would tell myself, don't drink today, then I'd end up drinking. Don't drink today, then I end up drinking. And it was like I literally ended up not taking the test because I usually turn it in maybe around like the middle of the month. I didn't turn it in until almost like, I think it was like the 28th of the month. Um and that was scary because it was like, no matter how hard I told no matter what I had planned to do, it always changed by the end of the night. And alcohol, out of all the drugs I've ever tried, I've never had really any hard substances. I said never really. I've never had hard substances like, crack or meth or whatever. I've done psilocybin twice. Well, 3 times. I've smoked weed and I've drank. Um, but drinking is the one that is my favorite because either it's I drink and it gets to the point where I lose the aware part of myself. Like, I lose that awareness of like, I'm no longer inside of my head. I'm no longer, like anxious. Like, I stop caring. I kind of just let my body move and does as it wants. Like, it feels like freedom. And with weed, I can't fuck with weed because I never know how it's going to affect me. I can smoke one day and it's amazing. I have the best high ever. And the next day I smoke and it's like my anxiety is so terrible and I'm having panic attacks. And I kept thinking to myself, like, how is it that people be glorifying weed and stoner vibes and shit? They have to be going through this shit too. Like, I cannot be the only one. So it made me kind of feel like, dang, I want to be a part of this stoner community, but I can't handle weed and like nobody else is talking about this shit. So I guess it's just not for me. And it was easy to quit because it's like with being drunk, it's like you wake up in the morning and you're like slowly recovering what happened the night before. Whereas weed, it's like when the high finally comes down and you're not high anymore or it's starting to fade away, it's like, I don't know, it's like I don't want to do that again. So if that was easier to stop. The weed was more so just the ritual of it, lighting up, rolling up, smoking a blunt after work. That was definitely a ritual. And then with the psilocybin, I never had my own amount of it. I always had to get it from somebody else. And the first experience I had on it, it was like terrifying. It started out good, and the person who was with me, they had to keep reminding me, like, you're on a drug. And, like, the way that it works, it's like, it's almost like you kind of have to let it consume you. You kind of have to let it get to you, because it's like you're right here, and then on this side it's like you don't feel anything, nothing is different, and on this side it's like something, and it's like if you keep telling yourself like, oh, I don't feel it, or like, I don't know, it's like you have to kind of like let it. And that felt so strange because it's like it made me feel like, I don't know. I don't know. It was a weird experience. And by the end of the night, I had realized that every single thing that I've ever been doing for the past couple of years of my life was just a script. It was just me performing this script that had been written over and over and over and over again. And there were moments of awareness in that script where like things didn't make sense. And like, I'm going to be really vulnerable here, but the part of the script I like to play was damsel in distress. And when there was a moment of, so like I would play that damsel in distress script, but then the person who was with me had said something, and it just cracked everything open. And it was almost like, I can see you. Like, you're not really being you, you're playing a character. And it felt so weird because I could see it myself too. And I was like, wait a minute, I don't actually feel this way. Where did that even come? What? And it was like everything that I believed, everything that I thought my life was meant to be, or how it was supposed to go, or what it was supposed to mean, it didn't anymore. It kind of all just faded away. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how do I, like, if nobody is telling me what to believe anymore, then what am I supposed to believe? And it took me a few days to even feel like myself again. But when I replayed that experience in my head, it just stuck with me because it was the first time where it was like, wait a minute, I can choose what I actually want. I don't have to keep playing this script. And it was terrifying because it felt like everything I ever known was a lie. But at the same time, it has led to me coming to the understanding that I have now, and it's I'm in control of my life. But at the same time, it's like, really, how much control do you have over who you are? The free will argument or whatever. But so alcohol, it's not all this mental gymnastics. It's not all this euphoria and everything and these big realizations. Alcohol literally makes me dumb. It makes me stupid. And while I'm drinking, I'm literally monitoring myself for the precise moment where I start to feel retarded. And that's where I'm like, okay, yeah, it's working. Another one. And that's what I want. It's just this dumbness. It's this retardedness, this silliness. And that, you know, after, so, alcohol is my thing. I like alcohol. Alcohol is also associated with a lot of intense, chaotic moments in my life. And so, one thing I learned about myself is I need rewards. Like, life is hard for everybody, but for me and my black ass, it's like I need a reward for everything that I have to do that I don't want to do. And so if I don't want to go to work, I don't want to brush my teeth, I don't want to exercise, I don't want to eat healthy, I don't want to get out the bed, but every day I do those things anyway, I'm like, where's my reward? And if there is no reward, I'm going to go drink, because alcohol is a reliable reward. It works the same way every single time. It's cheap. I can get it pretty much anywhere. Like, it's reliable. It's the easiest way to get relief from having to hold myself together, because that's literally what it's like every single day, holding myself together, because if I don't, things are going to fall, and I can't afford to let things fall. So at the end of the day, after I've already completed everything that I'm supposed to do, I want a reward. I want to fall apart. I'm tired of holding this shit together. And alcohol is the quickest way to do that. Most reliable way, doesn't fail. And so what I noticed by myself is like I need rewards. And if I do not have a reward planned out before the time where I'm looking for the reward, then I'm going to go drink. And so, one night, I think it was Monday this week, I was like, no, I will not drink tonight. And I said that earlier in the day. By the time it was like 8:30 and I'm about to go home, now all of a sudden it's like I want to drink, I want to drink, I gotta get a drink, I gotta get a drink, I gotta get a drink. Or I can go to this liquor store, I can go to that liquor store, or I can put a little bit, and I'm like planning it out, trying to get it. And then I say to myself, wait a minute, what do I want right now? Like, I don't think I want to drink. What do I want? And it's like, well, I want a reward. You just did something hard. And it's like, oh, okay. So what is another reward? Well, food. I love snacks. So I was like, you know what? Instead of drinking tonight, I'm going to go to that little corner store and get me some snacks. And the feeling of telling myself, no, I can't drink, it was literally like, But with the snacks, it was like, like a child dropping their ice cream on the floor and then immediately giving them another one. That's what it was like. It was like the snacks served the same purpose as the drinking. It was just different. It wasn't what I was used to because I wasn't used to going and getting snacks. I was used to going to the liquor store. So, I taught myself that night, like, it really is just about rewards, and I have to plan the reward out before it gets to the end of the night, or I'm going to go to what I always do. And I'm currently in this state of trying to experiment with different things. So tonight is a Friday night. I literally told myself I was not going to drink yesterday. Then this morning I was like, well, maybe a little bit of a drink. And now I'm like, no drink. So by the end of the night, I will go home and I will not drink. But what I will do is I've been wanting to watch the movie Backrooms. And I can't afford to buy the movie right now. So I'm going to watch like one of those analysis breakdowns. And I'm going to watch that while I like draw or paint my fingernails or something and do something like a reward. This doesn't involve food. It doesn't involve snacks. It's literally a movie I want to watch. And I'm trying to teach myself like regular things are fine. The quiet things are fine. It doesn't always have to be the most intense, chaotic, neurotic experience that is the best thing. Because what that ends up happening is it's like this hedonic adaptation where like you experience so much of this intensity in this high life that when it all comes back down, nothing else fucking feels the same because you were all the way up here. But real life is not like this all the time. Real life is down here, and then it doesn't stay high. And so trying to keep a high going, it's just not going to work. And so, my goal is to let myself feel and give myself what I'm looking for, but in ways that align more with natural life. Because, yeah, I can go drink every Friday night, but there are consequences for that. And the consequences for that, I think, are a lot bigger than if I go and get a cake this Friday night or next Friday night I go watch a movie. It's like the risks that come along with these decisions are a lot lower, and they will help me maintain consistency. Because I'm a type of person that once I get a taste, I don't want it to stop. I don't want it to end. I want to keep it high. I want to keep it as long as I can. And when I literally actively fight and resist coming down, and it just ends up making my life very depressing, very like I don't want to be here. I literally was thinking about it this morning, and I was like, it feels like I only am living for the intense moments. Like I'm only living for the good times, and that's what I'm waiting for every day. It is just a day that's getting me closer to some potential intensity, chaotic moment that is going to spark that high again. And I think it's just dangerous for me to have too much of anything as much as I want. I think hedonism is dangerous for me. I think anything that is good for me needs to be something that is I think anything that is good for me, it needs to be either worked for or it needs to be delayed. Like, it cannot be the first thing, because usually the first thing for me isn't the best thing. The best thing usually comes after a little bit of waiting, a little bit of thinking. It can't be the first thing. And I just cannot imagine, how these adults, people who've been alive for 30, 40, 50 plus years, it's like, how in the world do y'all even get to that point? Because right now I feel like my life is ending, my world is crashing down, and I'm only 22. And it's like, how in the world do you even get there? And it's like, I can't even imagine it, because how is regular everyday life enough for you? How do you not work a hard ass day and then come home? You don't got children, you don't got a lover, you don't got a cat, you don't got a dog. All you got is your bedroom, your bathroom, and some things that you can use to create, something. But it's like, that's how I be feeling. Like, I literally was telling myself I couldn't drink that month. No, well, it was some other night I was telling myself I couldn't drink. And literally after I told myself that, my thoughts were like, you're alone. You don't have nobody who cares for you. Nobody loves you. You're just going to be alone for the rest of your life. This is what your life is going to be, just sad and alone. And that was the voice that was talking to me literally after I said I couldn't drink that night. And it was almost like my thoughts were still trying to get me to drink, because it's like, well, if nothing matters, if nothing's going to feel as good, then you might as well just go drink. So, but I didn't. And I did drink 2 times this week. But after those 2 times of drinking, it just made me realize even more that drinking is something that I need to discontinue. Not because, simply just for the reason of, it's always going to lead me chasing it, neglecting myself, feeling like life isn't enough, me being alive isn't enough. And my life is amazing. I mean, I'm not rich. I'm not living in the Beverly Hills, but I'm alive. I can touch, taste, smell. I can read, I can write, I can understand. I'm alive. And that is all I have. Being alive is all I have. And anything that affects my life, my quality of life, is going to make me wish that I can go back to a time in my life where I wasn't affected. Like, this is all I got. So why is all I got not enough? And it's because of the intense shit, drinking, having sex, novelty, the chaos. It's like, it's funny because while I was going through it, I was telling myself, I'm like, I wish I could stay here forever. And then there's times where I feel so at peace with my life and I feel so content and grateful for my life. And I'm just like, I wish I can be here forever. So it's not that I don't want my life. It's just once I get that taste of intensity, that like why would I have a single cheeseburger when I can have a triple cheeseburger? And I can have a triple cheeseburger every day. But I'm thinking of, outing myself to my class that I'm in, because I know I'm not the only one who's sitting in there still actively going through addiction while they're supposed to be sober. I know I'm not the only one. It's just the consequences of me being honest. But it's like, if I'm gonna be honest about something, and the possibility is that it can make me better, then I'd rather be honest about that, because I can tell a million lies that will keep me stuck in this situation. But if by me telling the truth one time can get me out of this situation, I'd rather tell the truth, because good things might come out of that. And I always say I like being open and honest, and I like being, you know, open and not hiding anything. And this is the perfect opportunity to really stand on business. But it's like, if I make that decision, then I can't be having sex no more, and I can't be drinking no more, and I really can't do the things anymore. So it's like, I either have to completely let that go and be 100% honest, or continue my secret lifestyle and pretend like I'm being sober. But it's like, I don't really know. I know which one I want, but I know which one feels better. And it really doesn't. But I don't know. Everything seems to be a trigger. Nothing, you know. I am at peace when I'm not stuck inside of my head. Like, if I'm washing the dishes and I'm cleaning the kitchen, that state of mind is perfect for me, because I'm not attached to my thoughts, but I'm also I'm not hearing my thoughts. It's almost like background noise happening. I'm not really there. I'm focused on what I'm doing, and my attention is split. And that, to me, is a perfect state of mind. I don't mind being in that. The problems come when I am stuck in my thoughts. And the problems come when I did just have a really hard day, and now my first instinct, I have to override it. That discomfort and that decision making. I hate the decision making, because it's like, either you're going to drink or you're not. I don't want to, but now I'm here making decisions about something I already told myself I wasn't going to do. And so literally on that Monday night, I told myself, I was like, I'm not going to make a decision about it right now. I'm going to read my book. I was like, I'm not going to make a decision right now. I'm going to read my book. And I did. I stopped thinking about it. I pulled in my book and I started reading. And before I knew it, it didn't just go away, but the emotion kind of like fizzled out. It didn't feel like fire anymore. And I think that's just a practice. I just have to get used to practicing that, because it's really all just a mental game. Like, I stopped vaping a couple of weeks ago, and that has been the hardest thing. I think that vaping, man, that stuff. And at this point, I'm terrified. Honestly, I'm scared to buy another one, because I know that if I buy another one, I'm going to get caught in the same cycle. And I don't want to. I want freedom. So I'm refusing to buy another one. And I was sitting there yesterday starting to do that decision making about whether I was going to buy one or not, even though I already told myself I wasn't going to buy one. And I started the decision making, and I started getting scared, because I'm like, no, like, I don't want to buy another one, because then I'm going to be stuck. Right now, I don't have one, so I don't have to make any decision. But if I go buy it, then I'm going to have to be making a decision, and I don't want to. I want freedom. I want to know what it feels like to not have to be walking around vaping on sweetened air. And right now, it's been 3 weeks, which is the longest I've went in 2 years. 3 weeks. And it was not easy, but I think that is what is causing a lot of this extra stress, because it's something that I used to do all the time. I don't do it anymore. And my body's adjusting to that. Our emotions and our neurotransmitters are based off of our habits. So if every day you're used to drinking coffee at 12 o'clock, your mind and your neurotransmitters, your anticipation, your dopamine is already wired for that event to happen. And when it doesn't happen, it is going to feel like something is missing. Your psychological state is going to change simply because of the habit that was formed. And, you know, my mom, she doesn't like the mental health stuff. Back when I was younger, she had told me, mental health is just an excuse for people to behave how they want to behave. And being somebody who's struggling with it every single day is like, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. It literally is like there's something inside of you acting, behaving, and thinking against what you actually want, or offering solutions to what you want, but it's not in a good way. It's not like I'm actively deciding to get stressed out or be angry because I don't have my flavored air. Like, you know, it's vaping, you know. I don't want to do it again. I don't want to start it again. I believe that I've always believed that me as a person was supposed to be completely sober. I'm supposed to be a completely sober person. And I say that because I don't need any enhancement to my mind. I don't need any uh upper or downer. My mind is completely fine. I know how to entertain myself. I know how to change my state of mind. My problem is initiation and getting myself to do the things that I know are good for me consistently, and being able to adapt and adjust based off of how I'm responding. I know how to create my own happiness. I know how to create my own peace. I don't need a substance or anything to do that. I know how to relieve myself from stress. It's just the easiest ways to do that, the quickest ways to do that are what I've been doing for the past couple of years. And when I finally learn how to be okay with myself and with my life and what I have, then I'll be fine. It's just, it's a real struggle. And but it's possible to overcome.